r/ask Reddit. Redditors who massively ducked up at work. What happened? I dropped a screw inside the engine. Edit, motor of a TGV train. Oh god. We spent half an hour trying to catch it by moving a magnetic stick inside the crankshaft, with oil spilling everywhere. The engine was new and about to be mounted on a train that was supposed to run later in the day. I was so terrified I would possibly cause quite a lot of trouble since no other train or engine was available. Shout out to my manager who finally got that screw and definitely deserved his half a dozen of croissants the next morning. It's great how in France, croissants are used as payment. They're used as compensation payment for dumb stuff you do that causes more work for your co-workers. Also for other occasions. Getting married, croissants. Sick leave, croissants. Birthday, croissants. Damn, in New Zealand it's a box of beer. Controls engineer made a copy paste error while programming and a 2 was a 3. So one machine tagged that 3 was waiting for conditions of 2. So naturally the lift moved when it thought it should and crashed into another machine. Course I'm having to stand there figuring out the issue while maintenance is up there replacing busted parts. But because I've made 1,000 changes it didn't click fast enough and well, it happened again. Program doing exactly what you told it to do. The bane of all software engineers. The antithesis of do as I say, not what I do. Do as I meant, not as I said. Realistically, once AI has cracked that, we're out of these jobs and reskilling in AI maintenance. Working the stock room at Malwart, grabbed a Pepsi pallet with a forklift and didn't realize it was a short pallet. The forks came out the other side and through to the pallet of glass Coke bottles it was up against. When I lifted the Pepsi, the Coke came up with it and dumped the entire unwrapped pallet of glass bottles, spilling all that sticky soda on the floor. That mess was hell to clean up. However, the vendor had to eat the cost because that store's posted policy is that they cannot leave unwrapped pallets unless it is being worked. During the first week of my first job in animation after I graduated, I had to move a bunch of scene files from one server to another. The files were heavy, so I was told to just cut and paste them to make it faster. I accidentally put them in a wrong area and without thinking just deleted them. Went back to move the files again. They weren't there. I had forgotten I hadn't copied them. I lost 5 minutes of full animation. My longtime friend who recommended me for the job got in shit because his backups didn't catch the files, and my direct supervisor worked for 21 days straight to help redo all the animation. The studio and everyone involved were way nicer to me about it than I expected. I kept my job and I bragged and donuts for the whole crew for a week after, but it was an awful start. There wasn't a backup. I don't think the entire blame can fall on you if someone told you to cut paste important files that didn't have a backup. Probably why they kept their job. Tech companies have all moved towards a model where mistakes trigger a post-mortem process that tries to find the root cause and makes sure the same mistake can't happen again. This only works if everybody is honest in analyzing the problem. Passing blame or covering up one's own fault is really counterproductive. So, in order to make this actually possible, there is a policy that there won't be any disciplinary consequences for honest mistakes. Given how expensive it is to replace a skilled technical employee, that is almost always the cheaper decision anyway. I have no idea whether the movie industry has switched to the same model, but the success in the tech industry certainly hasn't gone unnoticed. Accidentally left out the move next method on a loop that sent out an email broadcast, which meant it mail-bombed the first recipient in the loop until we realized what was happening and killed the process. The CEO's email was the first email address in the loop. He was an asshole anyway, and was absolutely incoherent with rage when his Outlook crashed when downloading 15,000 emails inviting him to take a satisfaction survey. Good thing it was only a test. One of the managers where I work had the junior IT guy add a vacation autoresponder to his email, and the confirmation window had a checkbox apply to inbox. The manager never cleans his inbox and the IT guy decided to check that box. Something like 10,000 emails were sent that day. Important clients, who he would have been conversing more often with, were getting multiple hundreds of vacation notifications. Nothing bad came from it and most of the clients were good-hearted about it. He was getting replies like, "Frank, please stop. We know you're on vacation." Most autoresponders I've worked with limited to one reply per sender per day. In response to emails coming in, It seems like an oversight to not have that limit. Slammed a forklift into a Camaro. Oh damn. That is not good for the resale value of the forklift. Are you kidding? Now he gets to paint a horse on the side like it's a World War II fighter plane tallying its kills. A very important and very big customer placed an order for some chemical bulk to be delivered early Jan. Our contract with them stated that every day we were late we would be fined millions. The bulk plant finished on time and just needed the drums to pour the bulk into. Warehouse come up to my office. I was the purchaser responsible for buying the drums. Where are the 250 liter drums? Bulk plant need them. It's fine, I thought. I placed the order before Christmas. I remember doing it. Looks at SAP, why is the supplier late? They're never late. Checks my order, mouth goes instantly dry and I start to sweat. I had placed the order, but I forgot that for this particular supplier I needed to email them the PO. We had just changed the system to allow SAP to auto email the supplier after we placed an order, but not for this one supplier. I knew this, but must have forgotten. These drums had a 2-week lead time from the supplier, so I knew I was dead. Not only would we have had millions of pounds of fines, but the production plant would have been put on hold, having to store tons of bulk with nowhere to put it. I went and told my boss and just told him I had funked up. Being an awesome guy and boss, he thanked me for being honest and told me it's going to be okay. He called the supplier, sweet talked them, and because we were a good customer they allowed us to take another customer's order. The drums were delivered next day. That was about 9 years ago and I still think about it. I worked in a pizza place and they caught me eating olives on camera. It wasn't 2-3 olives. I could eat like 1,000 in a shift. I really don't know why, and it's a time in my life I want to forget. I found the seriousness of you talking about olives and wanting to forget that time as unintentionally hilarious. Was promoted to terminal manager and I was a dumb 25-year-old idealist. We had an essential employee, a mechanic, who kept our fleet of trucks running. At least that was his job description. Less than a month on the job, it came to my attention that he was a working alcoholic and his work on our fleet was underwhelming. My boss told me to fire him once we had a new mechanic ready to come in. I told the old mechanic that he should probably start looking for new work if he couldn't do the job. Word got back to him through the pipeline that he was going to be fired. I went to a bar with my assistant manager after working 40 days straight and lo and behold the mechanic showed up. Long story short, the mechanic attempted to abduct me with his adult son and dump my body in a frozen lake. The whole thing became a large dramatic bullshit event that put me in the hospital for a few hours and we both lost our jobs. Why did you lose your job? They didn't want to deal with it. It's an at-will employment state. The chef was angry that day. I was advised by my co-workers to do whatever it takes to get on his good side. I thought, I'll just try to avoid him. He was standing in the cooler taking inventory. Beside him were the 5-gallon containers of prepped food. I sneaked in and tried to quickly grab the ranch container, but in my haste, I nudged another. It was the French onion soup. All 5 gallons of it, on his pants and shoes. Yes, he was upset. The prep girl was upset. I had 10 minutes till lunch service started. I have no idea how I'm still alive. I worked in a nice steakhouse. First week, I accidentally put salt in the sugar bowls and sugar in the salt shakers. Customers started to complain about their sweet steaks and salty coffees. We had to pull all the salt and sugar from each table. My last day as a waiter. I can really relate to this. While in high school I had a job at night working at a decent restaurant and accidentally mixed up ranch with blue cheese from the big jugs the dressings came in. I just added it to the salad bar with a tag out that said blue ranch so as not to waste it, and the customers actually used it all up within a few days. I felt bad for screwing up, but there were no repercussions for my mistake. Very first tech job as a youngin, and I forgot to verify if someone had backed up files before a clean OS install. Lost the guy's Outlook archive files with 10 years worth of conveniently stored and important email. Apologized and sheepishly turned the issue over to admins, pushing the problem off to someone else. I'm a habitual user of this tactic myself. Not me, but my dad. He used to be a microbiologist and was working in a hospital with a tray of test tubes containing some kind of pseudo-rabies. He went ass over tit and spilt rabies everywhere. He's an accountant now. No use crying over spilt rabies. A customer got the best of me. I worked upper level customer service for an Australian winery conglomerate that shall remain unnamed. They owned a bunch of exclusive brands, but only had a team of 6 or 7 customer service reps to service them all. 2 of us got paid $1 HR more to be upper level customer service and take escalations, which is fancy talk for get shit on by the wealthy. A customer from their top brand made an online purchase, which we shipped immediately. He decided he was upset about that, as we should have read his mind and known he wanted it 3 months later. Anyway, he called me a retard, so I cancelled his order, his wine club membership, and deleted his customer profile. I was not let go due to them literally needing me to keep the department running, but my manager burst a blood vessel in his eye. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.